Don Little Sky was born in 1930 and has family connected in both the Battle of Little Bighorn and Wounded Knee. David Humphries Miller, author and artist of the 72 paintings and survivors of the Battle of Little Bighorn, helped both her and her husband, Eddie Little Sky, get into the movie business. Dawn is an artist, movie actor, teacher, and national treasure, but most of all, devoted wife and mother. Here is my conversation with Dawn Little Sky.
I know we went to down Oklahoma City. I had been invited down there for somebody that was being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so they wanted to interview me. So I'm sitting there and I'm interviewing the whole thing. My leg is
kicking your foot? Well, it's the nerves acting up on you, right?
Couldn't use anything. Couldn't use any footage.
So now that was, you were getting inducted into the...
No, this was a friend of mine.
Friend of yours,
yeah.
Okay. So David got inducted into the Hall of Fame too,
Did he?
the Western Heritage.
Oh, Western Heritage.
Yeah, that was in 72, I believe it
Yeah.
was.
Well, I forget when they were filming that up there, but it must have been in the 50s. You are aware that I'm 93, or going to be 93.
93. Now, for some reason, I thought Alice told me you were 85. And here's the interesting thing is like when David interviewed all the survivors, they were in their late 80s
Yeah.
to mid 90s.
Right.
And so it's, he got a lot of information. A lot of people didn't realize how close we are to the survivors of Little Bighorn because Dewey died in 57, right?
Yeah.
And did you know Dewey?
Yes.
Yeah. Because he's from Kyle, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I was told he was buried there, but there's not a marker on his grave. I don't know if that's an accurate statement or not.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
I haven't been.
But I was told that part of David's ashes were spread on Dewey's grave.
Could be.
Yeah. And then you were at when they spread the ashes up on...
Yeah, Jen had asked me and my husband if we'd do that for her. And we said we'd, spread the ashes, place a plaque up there. And that's against the law, by the way.
Right. But you did it anyhow, huh?
We did it anyhow.
Right.
But it was, we met them on the Central Creek horse. They were newly married, and we were newlyweds too, so we kind of went out together to eat,
right,
go dancing, and go here and there. But he was in charge of the Indians and could find Indians for the parts. They had to be riders. So he had contacted my father, and that's my father up there, John Gates.
John Gates?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was chairman of Standing Rock for me, so he knew a lot of Indians. And he was living in Rapid at the time. So
okay.
Did that. And of course, he told my husband and I, well, you better get on this because they're wanting Indians that can ride. And so we signed up and we worked that picture.
So that picture that you worked with him was Crazy Horse.
Right.
Now, did you work any other pictures with him, or was that the only one?
Eddie worked more, but I don't remember right now what it was. But he got charge of the Indians opening the Cow Palace in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I was his announcer and dancer. I explained the dances.
Okay.
Me and Prairie Rose. Prairie Rose is my youngest daughter.
Okay. Okay. And how old is Prairie Rose now?
52.
52. Now, I looked on your Facebook page and I saw a picture of a very beautiful young lady, and she looks a lot like you when you were young.
This was her up here.
Yeah. Looks a lot like you when you were young. So, and that was in San Francisco that you did that at the palace
we did
there.
that. That was really funny because when Indians in San Francisco, they had gone out there on relocation. Of course, they're all homesick.
Right.
So when they heard that the Indians were going to open the Cow Palace rodeo, they all came, and they'd come back stage and hunt for their tribesmen. And I was related to a lot of them.
Right.
So here's these great big hunks that came back there, and they were my cousins. And so David was talking to me, and here comes one of my cousins. He's a great big scary looking guy, and he said, "Is this man bothering you?" And David said, "Oh no, I'm not bothering her at all."
That's funny. He was, so I'm trying to think. Crazy Horse. So did you meet David's first wife or Jan the second?
Jan.
Jan is who you met,
Yeah.
not Jean.
No, I didn't know Jean.
Okay, yeah, Jean was his first wife, and she was in the movies too with him before he met Jan. So I'm just trying to kind of figure out when that separation happened.
Yeah,
right?
Jan they were newly married.
So what year would that have been? Like 54 maybe, or 50?
Yeah, probably, because I think we went out there in 50. I don't know.
Right.
Stop to think about it.
And she was.
She used to work some producing.
This Is Your Life, or
yeah,
something like that,
something
right?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Casey Tibbs was on To Tell the Truth, May 28th, 1957. I kind of feel like I led her in the wrong direction on that question.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he got his part when on This Is Your Life with Casey Tibbs.
Casey Tibbs, he got a part on. What was that?
They were doing This Is Your Life, either Casey Tibbs or one of them.
Okay.
And so we were on there too.
And he also David had a TV show called Cascade of Books. Are you familiar with that show at all?
No, I wasn't.
So he would read books and then have the authors come in and interview them on TV. Now, did you ever get a chance to go out to David and Jan's home in California at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But they lived way down close to San
Diego, right? The Rancho Santa
Yeah.
Fe, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And we lived up in Palmdale, north of Los Angeles.
Okay. And he got you and your husband, and remind me your husband's name again?
Eddie Little Sky, that's in there.
Those are beautiful. Now, who painted these?
John Bernat, he was a
What a handsome man he was.
he was a Czechoslovakian artist,
Okay.
and he hitchhiked when he was young to study art in Italy, and he became the premier artist under Mussolini.
Under Mussolini.
But Mussolini wanted him to do what Mussolini wanted to do.
Right.
So he got a rowboat, rowed himself out in the middle of the Mediterranean till he caught a boat, went to South America, and then eventually got
Up here.
up here.
Those are stunning.
So his, and he had always, he said, always wanted to meet a Native American. So he was at the City of Hope in Los Angeles. He was an artist there, and he also had cancer. And so he asked us to pose for him, and we posed for him, but that was for a great big painting that he wanted to do. Eddie was supposed to be standing in front of me and protecting me, and that's Todd, one of our sons,
Just
when he was 8 years old.
8 years old. And this would have been painted about what year, would you say?
He's gonna have to stop asking about years. I have no idea.
No idea.
60s.
60s. Okay, that's good enough. That's close enough.
Yeah.
Those are absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, did David paint you and Eddie also?
No, he didn't.
He didn't. I'll be darned. I'll be darned. Now, I was talking with who was the gentleman that dropped off those paintings that you did?
That's my son.
Is that Eddie?
No, his name is John.
John.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, he's my grandson.
Grandson. Okay.
But,
Okay. He brought me those paintings, and
yeah, they're pastels.
Pastels?
I just got some new pastels for Christmas.
Very nice.
They're all out.
I don't know if he told you, but I almost started crying. I mean, that was so nice. Thank you very much for giving them. And they're awesome. They're beautiful. So they're gonna hang with my Davids.
Oh, good.
I've got some David Miller stuff at my house. Most of my stuff I have in the museum, but I have, some of my favorite stuff at my house.
Well, he's got a lot of warriors. He needs some women.
Exactly. I do have a few ladies, and a matter of fact, I'll have to send you pictures of them. Maybe you can identify a couple of them, because I have no idea who. He didn't write. Normally he put on the stretcher who they were, and a couple of them I have no idea who they are. But I know that they're from the Pine Ridge someplace. But no, those are going to go downstairs and with my David collection at the house.
Oh, I'm happy.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Now, when he stopped yesterday, he had mentioned that you all are related to Ironhawk.
Yes.
Okay, so is that on your side of the family?
That's on Eddie's side.
Eddie's side of the family. Okay, so David painted Ironhawk.
Right.
And I told, was it John? I'm really bad with names. So your grandson.
Well, he goes by Cheppa.
Cheppa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lakota name for just called fat. Tubby.
Cheppa. Okay, well, that's good to know. Well, he told me that you were related to Ironhawk.
Yeah.
And do you know Tom Wilson by any chance? That's at Crazy Horse.
No, I don't.
So he and I met years ago, and he met David at the the Bluebell Lodge.
Oh, over in Custer.
Over in Custer, right? His parents used to run that back in the 40s and 50s. And when Crazy Horse was dedicated in 48, David brought in, I think, 7 survivors from the Battle of Little Bighorn, and they stayed down at the Bluebell Lodge. And Tom was their son. He was real little at the time. Was there, and he's got pictures of David and Black Elk, and a bunch of them down there at the Bluebell Lodge at the time. So, and then he had Ben Black Elk. Do you know Ben?
I know of him in his writings.
Right. So he's got pictures of Ben Black Elk.
But I never got to meet him at the time. We were out rodeoing around.
Right?
All over.
Now, you said you were in quite a few movies?
Yeah.
Okay, so what movies did you act in?
Apple Dumpling Gang with Disney.
So is that Don Knotts? And
yeah.
It was a comedy, right?
It was a comedy.
Yeah.
And MGM's Cimarron.
Cimarron?
With
Okay.
Glenn
Ford? Okay. Yeah.
I can't think of it. But whatever. Hand me that tablet.
You remember some of them by the tablet, huh?
No, I don't even have them written on the tablet. But
did you enjoy that time?
Yeah, we really had a good time on that. We went all over. I went to Israel.
Did you really?
And that was interesting.
And that was part of the movies set over there that you were in?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's my husband. He's working on the Virginian on TV.
The Virginian?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is my father, that one.
Okay.
When he was a young cowboy for the Matador outfit.
Very handsome.
His aunt. Oh, his sister.
Okay.
My aunt.
she's beautiful. What a stunning picture that is.
Now I did something again. Those are all little skies.
All little skies.
There's Prairie Rose. We were going up in the Black Hills. Fascinated by buffalo.
Yeah.
This is in Oklahoma City, and it's a teepee that my...
Oh, is that what that is? A teepee?
Yeah.
Okay.
That my... it's a teepee of my grandfather's.
Okay.
And his name was Two Bear.
Two Bear. Okay.
And actually, I think his mother did the artwork on it because she did a lot of beadwork, and her satchels are in the Smithsonian.
No kidding.
Stuff like that. So she was a darn good artist, and I think she did all those drawings. And he, of course, he told her all of his exploits.
Right.
She just illustrated them for her.
Right.
But there's the teepee.
That is very cool.
And I didn't know anything about it, and it surfaced, and so my daughter took me and my niece down there to view it
And where is that at?
at Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. Okay. And how did it make its way to Oklahoma? Is it in a museum there?
It's in a museum there, and they have it in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
But the guy was in the Army and stationed at Fort Yates, and that's where my grandfather was.
Okay.
And they became friends and went hunting together and everything. And he's on that teepee.
Okay.
They were hunting buffalo or something, and his horse bucked him off.
Okay.
So the Indians thought that was hilarious. So they put him on the teepee. I can't find.
Yeah, that's one of the, the different paintings that they would paint on the back of a buffalo hide or paint on a teepee are just absolutely beautiful. And a lot of the ledger art has a lot of those similar pictures that they put on the teepee as well.
My husband's grandfather was John Coloff, and he was a half Indian, and he was related to a Fire Thunder who kept a winter count.
Okay.
And so he had written down the winter count in Lakota and English.
Now explain to me what winter count.
Winter count is their history.
Okay.
Every year when they came together for their annual thing, well, they had one guy who kept track of the time.
Basically what happened for that whole past year.
And they would discuss what they would name that year and what was the most significant thing that happened that year.
Okay.
And sometimes it was named after people,
right.
Sometimes events,
right,
and sometimes sicknesses and everything like that. In fact, I drew it because it had never been drawn. It was just verbally given down, and so I drew it. So we've got that, and that's what we teach history off of sometimes. Me and John Cheppaton.
Okay. Yeah. Does he like it when you call him that?
He likes to do that. Well, actually, his Eddie's brother, he's deceased too, but his name, they called him Cheppa.
Cheppa.
And so he reminded him of his brother, so that's why Chippa inherited that name.
That's good. When you call me now,
Uh-huh.
that picture pops up on my phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow, look at this picture here.
Yeah, that's men folks that worked with. This guy was Max Bear's son.
Max Bear's son, okay.
Yeah. It wasn't some bear. But anyhow, they were going to make a kind of like Grizzly Adams
Yeah.
sort, and that's what we were doing there. But it didn't sell.
Okay.
But if it had sold, I would have been a star.
I still think you did pretty good. Yeah, I mean, you were in Crazy Horse. That's a great
Oh,
movie.
that was the first one I was ever in.
Was it really?
Yeah.
And what role did you play in that?
Oh, we were just background people. It was me and Rosebud's Ben Rifle's daughter, and they had this old man, and he brought a horse to trade for the main girl character in there. So he's apparently trying to buy a wife all the time with this little horse.
Uh-huh.
The horse is way back. So we're standing.
You're
there
laughing.
at
So,
it.
I'm gonna have to. I have all of David's movies, so I'll have to watch it and
Yeah.
look for it. So you're the one laughing
Yeah.
when he's trying to sell the horse.
Yeah.
That's very.
He's trying to negotiate for the wife.
Now I'm trying to remember, somebody that I talked to told me a story, and I think it was in the movie Cheyenne Autumn, where a bunch of the chiefs were sitting on the ground when they were talking about a treaty. And it was like High Eagle, it was Dewey Beard, it was John Sitting Bull. They were all sitting there, and the director was telling them, here's what I want them to say, and David would tell them what the director said that they wanted to say, but they didn't say what the director said, so they were supposed to say something to this guy, and they were calling him disparaging names in Lakota, but the director didn't know, so it's still, and of course I don't know Lakota, but they say that it still says that in the movie, right? Which is, I think that's hilarious, right? Because they could say whatever they wanted to say. And I was told.
I've got a story about that.
What? So tell me that.
The first time I worked on a kind of bend of the river thing. Anyhow, we were all on this set with the river, and they were asking if they could go down the Colorado River, and I'm supposed to be telling them, no, there's a big Chichi down there, and his name is Cahoots or something. But before they got to me, this guy, his name is Brian Keith, it was his speech first, and that's the first time I'd ever done anything, you know. It was all at once, he just got me fascinated. I'm watching him, and all at once there was dead silence. It was time for me to speak, and I forgot my lines, and I thought, oh my God, it's me. So I just went, want you to know Payamini Tupa. It's 1, 2, 3, 4.
And the director was perfectly happy with it.
Except one actor in the background said, I didn't hear the word Cahoots in there.
That's so funny. That was so funny. Now, in the movie that that movie or any of the other movies, did they make sure that the regalia that you wore was proper to the tribe that you were from?
Not really.
Not really.
A blanket and some
That was all
buckskin.
That was all it was. Yeah, because David in some of the writings that I read, he prided himself in making sure that that the natives that were in his movies, because he was in a lot of John Ford movies like Cheyenne Autumn and How the West Was Won. He prided himself in making sure that the natives wore the right regalia based on the tribe that they were from. So I don't
think of this one, but anyhow, I wore my own regalia.
Okay.
With a dark blue elk teeth dress, and he had drawn lines down my face because I was just married to this Chinaman.
Oh, you married to a Chinaman. So those are like lines of dishonor. Is that what that was? Or?
That was was that I was a married woman or something.
I gotcha. Because I know that there's some natives that have the lines on the chin.
And then if they adopt, there's color your forehead red.
If they adopt?
And,
Okay.
And you have a red line down your part of your hair.
Okay. And is that tattooed on?
No,
it's just painted. Paint. Just paint. Okay. Wow, it's just. I'm trying to remember the other movie. Oh. So David's first wife, Jane, that he was married to, he had 2 children, and his youngest, or his son, his name is David Rick Miller. Okay. And he lives in New York City. And he found me through, I have a bunch of things on the internet about David Humphries Miller.
Yeah.
And he found me and reached out to me, and we've become friends. And I think he's maybe 74 now, somewhere in that age range. Well, anyhow, he asked me to come to New York and meet him. He lives in an apartment right beside the Brooklyn Bridge. And he had a water leak in his storage compartment, and we had been friends for quite a few years over the phone, but he'd asked me if I'd come help him clean out that storage compartment. I'll set this down over here.
Yeah.
And so I said, sure, I'll stop up and help you. Well, when I got there were 8 paintings that David had in his storage locker, and then a bunch of feathered items that natives had given him over the years, that he, is an eagle fan, quite a few different things, and then a headdress. And he gave all that stuff to me.
Oh, I'll be darned.
To take to the Wassenberg Art Center.
Yeah.
So I have all of these eagle feather things that I know that I'm not supposed to have. So I called Fish and Wildlife and let them know that I have these.
Yeah.
And what am I supposed to do with them?
Yeah.
And so I explained to them that the natives, and I explained the Little Bighorn story. I explained that the natives had given all these items to him over the years, and that I have this. The Wassenberg Art Center has my collection of paintings there, and so they told me that they would come up and collect all the native, and I had to sign all of the feathers and all that stuff over to them and hand them off to Fish and Wildlife. Okay, so it all ended well. So then what they did was they sent all of those items to, I guess, Fish and Wildlife has a depository of eagle feathers, right?
Right.
And so they cataloged every feather that is in this collection. I thought it was a lot of work, but it's the government.
Yeah.
So they cataloged every item, and then they called me back and said, okay, we're going to give them back to you. They will still be Fish and Wildlife's property, okay? But they'll be yours in perpetuity that you can have with the David Humphries Miller collection. So the context is there. And so, but I have all these feathers, and I don't know who they belong to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm watching the movie. It's called The Savage. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's Charlton Heston's movie that David was in. And I'm watching the movie. I'm watching all these movies, and I've got this headdress. It's beautifully beaded, and it's eagle feathers, and then all of a sudden I see Chief Henry Weasel with this same headdress. That I have now. So now I know who this headdress belongs to, which I just found absolutely fascinating. So the Fish and Wildlife was going to restore it for me, but because COVID hit, they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So then I sent the headdress to the Cleveland Museum of Art, a curator there, and she restored it for me. And so next month, all of the feathers that we have are going to be on display at the Wassenberg in context, and then I have 2 paintings of Chief Henry Weasel. Incomplete paintings that David did that will set right beside his headdress, so you can see the beadwork.
Yeah.
And then the headdress.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, that's really.
But I've had not a lot. I've had a few natives that are not happy that I have the feathers. What are your thoughts in regards to something like that?
And well, I think it should be there.
It should be there.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Because we don't have any place to keep things, and they have to be on. Otherwise, they deteriorate.
Right.
You know.
In the context, and I think it's important to tell David's story.
Right.
Because he told your story. Right? He told the Battle of Little Bighorn, and he told the Wounded Knee story in those 2 books.
That's true.
Have you ever read any of those books that he wrote? Have you?
Gave us copies.
Right.
He got them.
And do you know that the historians don't like David Humphries Miller?
No, I know that.
Because he told a completely different story of the battle, right?
Right.
And, Custer died early in the battle, according to David. And, of course, the government paints this glorious picture of the natives circling him, and he's the last one there, right?
Standing up with his sword, fighting them off with his sword.
Right. So David's father, Lou Miller, who was a very accomplished artist himself, he was an impressionist artist, where David was a realist. And Lou, which was David's dad, went out to visit David on the reservation in 1948 and met Joseph One Cow Bull, who was, I've been told he's Cheyenne, but I also been told he's Lakota, so I'm not really sure. So, but he lived
One
on.
Bull, maybe.
Well, One Bull is Lakota, right? He's Sitting Bull's adopted grandson.
Right.
And John Sitting Bull was the deaf mute of Sitting Bulls. Yeah. Is that do you know, is that an adopted son or his blood son?
I think it was his blood son.
Blood son. So anyhow, Lou painted, and it's a very famous for me. He's holding a staff and he's sitting on a bench smoking a cigarette. And David, I've got and I'll show him to you after I take my phone off. He's got a picture of him sitting there holding the staff. And I've got a painting that is almost exactly that same size of One Bull, or a Joseph White Cow Bull that Lou painted. In 1948.
White Cow Bull, that sounds like Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he, according to David, is the gentleman that shot Custer. And because of the socks on the horses that Joseph White Cow Bull said that he shot Custer coming down Medicine Tail Coulee early in the battle. And the men stopped, picked him back up, put him on the horse, and he went back up the hill. So David says that he thinks that that's who shot Custer.
Yeah.
And then David painted him as well. So I've got both of those paintings at the Wassenberg Art Center that I got. Yeah.
I want to come out there.
Yep.
Yeah, I might get out there.
I would love to have you come out. I would love to have you come out. Are you familiar with a lady by the name of Marion Whitemouse by any chance?
No, I don't know her.
Okay, so Marion is a great-granddaughter of Dewey Beer. And so, and then
I know Marie and those guys.
the Foxbellies. She's related to the Foxbellies as well.
Oh.
But she passed away just this past year, and so she'd have to be great-granddaughter because she's about my age.
Mm-hmm.
So she came out when we dedicated the museum with all of the faces of Little Bighorn paintings, and Dewey Beard was my most prominent painting there at the time.
I saw a connection to Little Bighorn too. His mother, my grandmother, she was in Yankton village.
Was she really?
The first attack.
Okay.
They were the first ones attacked.
So that's on the south end of the battlefield, right?
No, it was the north.
North side, okay. And was that where they were going to go in and the 7th Cavalry was going to come in and try to capture the...
Yeah.
That's how he worked, right?
And they really didn't see all of the guys to the south.
Right.
And anyhow, they saw somebody gave the alarm that these soldiers were coming. So they told all the women and children to run.
Right.
You know, get out of the village and take off to the south. She said her brothers had just given her 2 horses, and they were paints, and they were almost identical. And one was broken to ride, and one was bronc.
Oh no.
And she said she got so excited, she got on the wrong one. She got on the bronc one. Bucking up. This horse was bucking up.
And this was your...
my grandmother.
Your grandmother.
Yeah.
I'll be darned. I'll be darned. That is amazing.
Yeah.
But she managed to get away,
yeah,
okay?
she managed to get away.
That is crazy.
But you can just imagine the panic and
I absolutely.
chaos.
Absolutely.
That was really funny.
And and then Wounded Knee happened in 1890, and David wrote about that
Yeah.
quite extensively too. Were any of your relatives involved with that?
My aunt married this one survivor. He was a baby, and one of the soldiers, colonel or somebody, took him and tried to raise him, but then gave him back.
Okay. Why was that normal back then for soldiers to do that?
No, it wasn't normal. He must have
felt bad, you think?
Yeah, felt bad about
Yeah.
it or something.
Yeah.
But his folks were killed there. He didn't really know who his name was, but he went by the name of Batty Miller.
Okay.
Because the soldier was an Irishman, I guess.
Was an Irishman. I'll be darned.
So he named him Patrick.
Now, David painted, I've got a beautiful, I'm going to show you a couple paintings that I have after I put the phone up here, but I've got a beautiful painting of John Sitting Bull. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And in David's book, it talks about John Sitting Bull, who was deaf and couldn't speak, was wrapped in a blanket, had a gun underneath it, and when they were taking the guns away from the natives, he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, he didn't understand.
Yeah.
They had to confiscate all the guns.
And when they grabbed him, the gun went off.
And he didn't want to give up the gun.
Right. And then the panic massacre ensued because of that gun going off. Is that a story that you've ever heard, or is that okay?
I've heard of that. And but I didn't know it was him. I heard it was somebody else.
Somebody else. Yeah, and I've heard it's been somebody else too, but in David's book, it's John Sitting Bull.
Yeah.
So, and I'm always curious as to how accurate he was with some of the.
I believe him because he was here.
Right.
And he was writing things down, whereas other people hearsay can get jumbled around. They don't intend to. But
Right.
it's just the way things are.
Did a lot of people know David on the reservation at all?
Yeah. He was around and every time Westman, he was down here getting the authentic
Right.
people and
because he said that he was on the reservation every year of his life except for World War II when he was overseas. He would always come out here, and I've got videos of him almost up until the year that he died, out of Little Bighorn, giving tours, telling people about Joseph White Cow Bull, and then one bull who engaged in the Little Bighorn battle at the first. Sitting Bull gave him the shield to go out and parlay and try to have peace, and they started shooting at him without even talking. And yeah, so that didn't go the way that he had hoped for. But and did you know Kay Reardon by any chance?
Kay Reardon.
So Kay ran
up there in the Black Hills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she commissioned the big mural that David painted for Mount Rushmore. And now it's at the Civic Center. And we stopped.
I didn't realize it was down there.
It is. And I got a picture. I'll show you that. We just stopped and looked at it this morning. So.
Yeah, I forget Jan and what's that? Who was the gal that had the
Kay Reardon?
No, had the faces after Jan passed away.
Oh,
Anne?
Oh my goodness.
What was her name? Anyhow.
Yeah.
They were down here. We were all supposed to go out to dinner. But my husband decided he didn't want to go. So he didn't go.
He didn't go.
And Jan was so mad at us.
Now, did you ever see the Fox called Strange Inheritance?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw that. And I didn't know anything about it. I was just browsing and all it was, hey!
I know that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that whole collection of his paintings are in Montana at the Wrangler Gallery.
Oh.
So those are the paintings that he had in his house with Jan, and then Jan passed it on, and I'm not going to remember her name right off the bat.
Yeah, I will later.
Yeah, but
I can't
yeah, all of those items, which includes Black Elk's medicine bundle, a teepee that Ben American Horse owned, a headdress, a buffalo headdress that Black Elk owned.
Wow.
So it's a very, he knows all of that stuff. The stuff that David had in New York City were his mom's items after they separated, right? But David had all of these displayed in his home, which I'm sure you saw,
I
right?
saw that. I saw the buffalo.
And did you see all of the wall of paintings of the show?
Oh, yeah.
This is beautiful.
In fact, she gave us some, and they're in Canada with my daughter.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Some of the paintings that David did?
Not the paintings, the
Sketches?
what do you call it when they take a picture and posters?
Oh, posters. Okay, yeah, yeah. So you got the signed poster that David. Yeah. So like one is, I would guess that it's a Bruley Sioux across the mountain. There's one. Is it a white background?
No, I got to pick them out, and I picked out this one. He was a Southwestern Indian.
Okay.
And I picked him up because he looked like my dad.
Okay. So I'm gonna guess on that one. It was John Ford's favorite. He was Navajo, I think, right?
Could have been.
John Stanley was the gentleman's name.
No, I think he's Apache.
Apache. Okay. Apache. Okay. But does the name John Stanley ring a bell? No. Okay. Okay. Well, if your daughter ever gives a chance to send you a pic, I would love to see a picture of it.
Yeah, I'll tell her.
Yeah.
But
Well, I don't want to.
She's due to tonight. They're coming in from Canada.
Are they really?
Her and her daughter. Yeah.
I'll be darned.
She usually is here, but she's been taking care of me.
Okay.
But she went home to her kids.
Right.
She married a Indian from up above Minnesota.
Okay.
He's a white. He's a anyhow.
So they come down. She's going to come back down for New Year's, huh?
And she lost her husband. He had a heart attack. Well, he was going to come down with her.
Oh no! So it's just recent.
Yeah.
Oh no!
So that was a year ago in July that they lost him. And she was here because he was going to teach at this school down here.
Okay.
And she was going to take care of me and get her finish her degree.
Now she's still planning on doing that, or?
Well, she's when she came down, these people all have known us since we came here in the 80s. So they kind of take care of us.
Okay.
So they made sure she got a job and
good.
Can get off anytime I need her to take me to the doctor.
Right.
I came back here because of my mother.
Right. Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
So your mother lived here?
No, my mother was from Cheyenne River.
Cheyenne River, okay.
Reservation up.
Okay.
But I came back there and took jobs up there while she was alive.
Right.
And my husband held down the place out there, and then we just decided to go home.
So now you did you teach? Do you teach art, or you?
Yeah, I was teaching art.
Teaching art.
Yeah.
Okay. And what school did you teach art at?
In Little One School.
Little One School. Yeah. Okay.
And I was director of the cultural center up in Cheyenne River.
Okay.
And I came back to be with my mother. And then one of my nephews was teaching. He was superintendent for this school down here when they were just getting started and breaking away from the BIA.
Okay.
And becoming a tribal school. And so he wanted me to teach. He said nobody knows anything about their culture, so he wanted me to go down here. So
now
I came down here to teach.
Did you teach language as well?
I can't teach language because I'm not that fluent.
Okay. Okay.
I can understand.
You lived in California too long, huh?
Actually, I was one of those Indians that they punished if you spoke.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no. So you didn't have to go into any of the schools, the Catholic schools, or any of that stuff, did you?
I went to some of them.
Okay.
But,
and they had the nuns there and all that?
My parents were they were savvy enough to get me out of there.
Okay, good.
Because they knew I was going to have none of that.
Well, I'm trying to remember. I just recently was watching a program. Oh, it's 1927. Are you familiar with that program at all? Do you watch Yellowstone? Have you ever seen?
Oh yeah.
So
that's the new one.
That's
right?
the new one. Yeah, with
too.
Helen Mirren and.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's going to be Harrison Ford.
But it shows the girls in the school with the nuns, and it's heartbreaking to watch. Just heartbreaking. And
they were mean.
Were they mean?
Why were they mean?
I don't know. Why would they be? They give that maybe that was their only sense of power that they had.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't know how to teach either.
Right. And was there a priest at that school as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And where was this school at?
It was, on the Cheyenne River. And it didn't last too long probably because the kids would go home and
tell on them, right?
Tell on them.
Now, you didn't have any of the issues like what, like what they're experiencing up in Canada right now, where they're...
No.
Yeah.
Not that. Like I said, my parents were
savvy enough to get you out of that.
To get us out of there.
Right.
But we had to work in the kitchen. We were assigned different jobs. And so, 8 years old, here I am making bread. Which didn't hurt me at all.
Right.
I always knew how to do everything.
Right. But you probably weren't making fry bread, though, were you?
No. We would have to put them in molds and bake them.
Well, now, was that a change for you to bake the bread that way, or?
No, my mother had gone to a school too. And
okay.
She was fantastic. Made fantastic bread.
Right. So you've been on Pine Ridge Reservation now since what, 86?
Yeah, about that.
About 86. My friend and I started Warm Up the Ridge. I started Warm Up the Ridge was 8 years ago, because David helped the natives out here, and I wanted to kind of pay it forward a little bit, and it's grown immensely.
Oh, fantastic!
And
thank you so much.
Well, this last one, I mean, we delivered 31,000 pounds of chicken and meat.
Wow.
That's a lot. It was almost too much.
I know.
It was a lot. And then the fireplaces and all that.
Oh, God. I haven't opened mine
Did
yet.
you? It's pretty big.
Yeah. John is coming.
Make sure he puts it in a good spot for you. It's pretty.
Oh, well.
It lights up pretty colors and all that stuff.
It's downstairs. I'm waiting for my daughter to come back.
So
because when the grandkids come, they either have to sleep here or sleep downstairs, and it's always cold down there because it's no.
So that'll help keep it warm.
Yeah.
Now. Good. So here's my question about what we're doing. Is there something else that we can do? Because it's the old saying of if you want to feed somebody, you teach them how to fish, right?
Yeah.
And I told Thad always asks this question. He's my friend, right? Is what else can we do? Is there something that we can do from a job standpoint? Is there something as far as helping bring jobs back here? Is there a lot of that in my business right now? A lot of Hispanics come up from Mexico and they're working and then sending money back home. Is there job exchange programs you think that would be worthwhile in trying out? What's the best way to help people on the Pine Ridge? Because as you know, they're the two poorest counties in the whole United States.
And they've got resources here that's fantastic, because I've been out and I know what they've got here.
Right.
But the thing is, the banks will lend us money.
Right.
And they shouldn't, because they don't know how to pay it back.
Right.
or
right.
Save and build your credit. They have no experience like that.
Right.
So
Is dealing with a tribal council good or bad in your opinion in those types of
there are some that are good on there, and most of them are, I think they're out just for themselves. And that's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad for me to see, because my father was chairman for Standing Rock, and when his tribe needed something, or they had legislated and going through the Senate or House of Representatives, he always got the newspaper before the bills were passed.
Right.
And he would no money or anything, he'd hitchhike out to Congress and address Congress.
I'll be darned.
He was really, that was the kind of a head man.
Right.
But he was
always fighting for Indian rights
and
and
the son of chiefs, you know.
Right.
And that's what they did.
And Iron Hawk is on his side, right?
No.
No, sorry. Okay.
That's where this is Ogallala.
Ogallala. Okay.
But it's Yankton.
Okay.
Uncle
Papa. Okay.
Said a little tribe up there. But
And the Minneconjou is where?
In Cheyenne River.
Cheyenne River. Okay.
Yeah, that's where my mother
Okay.
was related. So I'm related on all three. Insistent. That's why in San Francisco I always my sister.
It's a very tall people too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little intimidating for some. Huh?
Yeah, right. In fact, on that tablet they had touched the clouds. He was from Cheyenne River, and he was about 7 foot.
7 foot. Oh my goodness.
And my son that's married into touch the clouds. That's that girl and that baby.
Okay. A beautiful family. Let me look at that real quick. She's from where?
She's from Cheyenne River.
Oh, she's beautiful.
I had lost most of my sons. John's the only one left. Ray Rose is the only one left. I had an older daughter. And I lost my husband. I lost my daughter first, and then my husband, and then the boys just went one after the other.
So sorry for that.
Yeah, really. I thought I was so set up, but they did leave me some grandkids, and we're getting along fine.
That's good. That's very good. Well, I don't want to wear you out. I appreciate you just reaching out to me, and
oh gosh,
I'm so and
I could tell what type of man you were, and I wanted to meet you so much.
Well, I thank you very much, and I wanted to meet you very much too. And you know, like I said, Alice had told me good things about you, and she says she wants to meet you so bad. And then we had the COVID thing hit, right?
Yeah.
And we couldn't get together then. That didn't help.
Oh my God. So I think if Chuck could, he would have been marching up and down out there with a gun.
I'll keep everybody away from you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And he told me that I could that you would be okay with me stopping by. So.
Yeah. Right.
But he came over twice yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, I sent him back with those pictures.
Yeah. I just can't tell you how much that means to me. I really am very appreciative. So, well, I want to show you some pictures.